How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Overtime Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we're going to get into some hero test hands, combos, and pretty much just the general bread and butters you need to know to start being a hero player. So let's get into it. To start off, I do want to go over my deck list. It does have a couple of changes from last time. This won't be a full deck profile like I've done in the past, because I have done a lot of those, so I'm just going to go over what's stayed the same and what has changed. And you can see some previews of that on the board right now. We'll start off with the monsters. This has not changed at all. We're still on the 2 Stratos, the 2 Shadow Mist, a Liquid Soldier, an Honest Neos, Spirit of Neos, and a regular Neos for the elemental heroes. I feel like these ratios are really good right now. We are on 2 Malicious and a Denier, a Plasma, and a Dark Angel. These are for combo, and these are for setting up a board. And then we are on double Faris, double Vion, and an increase. Just 1 increase. I know a lot of lists are running 2 right now, especially with Kashtira banishing face down off the top of our deck to kind of mill out our good cards like this, but I still think 1's fine. For the spells, this is really where most of our big changes have taken place. So we are on 3 copies of Hero List still. This is Crazy, it's the starter. 3 Fusion Destiny, these are basic. We did cut the mass change down to 2. I really think that card is kind of more of a miss in this new format since it is a little less graveyard reliant. So that is why we were cutting that down to 2. I did talk about that in my last video. We're on 2 Ian Shuffle. We brought this back up to 2. I did take it down to 1 at a point, but 2 I think is the right number, especially with our anti-banish lines. We're then going for 2 emergency calls. Consistency is really important in our current meta. 2 D-Force, again, consistency, also playing through Nibiru. And 2 Book of Lunar Eclipse. Those are in those flex spots I was talking about. These are our board breakers and heroes. They are also our interruptions going first. We can set these and flip their cards face down before they get to use them as material. For our fusion spells, we are on a Miracle Fusion and a Poly, just 1 of each, and then a Super Poly. This has become a really important board breaker. In the current meta, we are running a lot of targets for it, and I will show you some of those in a bit. And then Triple Tack, Called by Rhoda. We did cut down our favorite contact so that we could run a Called by. We cut that out of the deck just because it wasn't putting in a lot of work, and Called by really is our protection against hand traps. So that is the main deck. It is 40 cards. We'll get into the extra deck now. For our extra deck, this is largely the same as last time. We are still on 2 Cross Crusaders, a Wonder Driver, and a Dread Decimator. 1 DPE, 1 Sunrise, 1 Ab-Zero, and an Escorial. We did cut down our Dark Law to 1. Still 1 for the other Master Heroes. We cut down our Dark Law to 1 to make space for Nova Master. This guy is a fusion monster. It just has an elemental hero and a fire. As material, must be fusion summoned. If it destroys an opponent's monster of battle, draw a card. It's got 2600 attack. This guy is our Super Poly out to Shangri-Ira, and I think that's worth running in the main deck. We then run a Trinity to kill, a Dangerous to combo, and a Dystopia for time. So that is our extra deck. We're going to go ahead and get into the side deck. So for side decking in Heroes, I've learned that 2 is the right number for everything, because everything you need, you don't have a lot of slots for, so you want it to be in the deck but not interrupt with your combo, and get rid of any of your gas. So I think 2 is the right number for everything. So we're running 2 Nibiru. We are running 2 Effect Veilers. This could be Imperm, really. I just don't have it, and I think Veiler is really good because it's not a once per turn, so if you do end up drawing into both of them, they still work. 2 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, and you'll see our target for that in a moment. 2 Dark Rulers. We side this out going second. We side out our Book of Eclipse for this. 2 Cosmics. This should be 2 Lightning Storms and 1 Cosmic. Triple Rivalry. And then we are going to be running Shangri-Ira as our 1 target for Ghost Reaper. I think that card is incredibly hard to out, being defensible from destruction. Like being non-destructible if you detach material. So I think having the Super Poly out to it and then also the Ghost Reaper out to it will be great. We are going to be siding in this, and this, as well as our Shangri-Ira going into Kashtira. This is going to be our board breaker. We're going to try to stop them from making a board in the first place, and this will be our board breaker on their turn. So we have 6 chances to hit Kashtira's board. All right, so getting into the combo / test hands here. I honestly am not a huge fan of just straight combo, especially with heroes, like just videos explaining the combos without test hands, because what you draw really affects your combos. Like, if you have Stratos and Fusion Destiny in the hand, and you're like, oh, I'll show you a combo with Stratos and Fusion Destiny, how does that combo change if X card in your hand is malicious, you know? How does that combo change if X card in your hand is something that you need to search, like your Poly for your Vion, something like that. And so I think heroes are best shown off through test hands. So that is what we're gonna go ahead and get into today. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and give this a good shuffle, and we'll draw a test hand. All right, so we've got a Faris, Fusion Destiny, Shadow Mist, Eclipse, and another Shadow Mist. So here what I like to do is kind of set away the things that I'm not going to be using right away in the combo. So these things we'll set to the side. We'll just look at, and honestly, this is the second Shadow Mist. So we'll kind of just look at this first. Faris and Shadow Mist. That's pretty good. There's a lot of lines we can go for here. We can Faris sending the Shadow Mist to search Stratos, and that's our normal summon, and we can pop off full combo there. If we wanted to get Dark Law, we could do that off this board. There's a lot of stuff we can do, so let's just go with something very basic. We'll just activate our Faris, and we're going to pitch our Shadow Mist for cost. That's going to special summon our Faris, and we're going to say chain 1 Shadow Mist, chain 2 Faris. Our Faris, chain 2, is going to go ahead and place our Increase from the deck, and our Shadow Mist is going to go ahead and search a normal summon, which we will say is our Stratos. We're then going to finish off our Faris line first, so we'll tribute for the Increase effect, by the effect of Increase effect on special summon is going to special summon our Vion from deck. Vion's effect on summon is going to Foolish our Malicious. That is fine, even though we have our Fusion Destiny in hand, because we can just send away our Neos as our other target. So we're going to go ahead and Foolish the Malicious. We're then going to activate the effect of Vion to banish a Faris, which is going to let us search our Poly. And here we'll go very basic. This is kind of the route I try to hit every time. We will normal summon our Stratos. Effect of Stratos is going to search our Liquid Soldier right there. Got that guy in the hand. We're going to go ahead and link 2. And we're going to make our Wonder Driver. We'll go ahead and activate Polymerization using these two, our Stratos and our Liquid Soldier, to make Sunrise. So that is going to proc our Wonder Driver, Chainlink 1. We'll activate Liquid Soldier, Chainlink 2, and Sunrise, Chainlink 3. Sunrise is going to search our Miracle Fusion to our hand. And then our Liquid Soldier is going to activate. We'll give this a good shuffle since we have not been shuffling throughout this combo. And off of that, we see our Malicious and our Hero Lives. There is a version of this, or not a version of this, there is an idea that you should Malicious before you Liquid Soldier, if you did mill it to the grave, so that you don't draw into it, and that's just a misplay on my part, and that happens in Heroes. A lot of times you'll just make a mistake like that, and it happens, it's okay. So we'll go ahead and get rid of our Hero Lives, because that is dead now, and we will reset our Poly. We're going to do our best to make use of that Malicious in hand. So we're then going to, since this line is over, right, we've completely finished all of that, we will then activate our Fusion Destiny. And we're going to go ahead and use our Denier and Neos. And that's going to make our DPE. After you activate Fusion Destiny, you're locked into Dark Hero monsters for the rest of the turn. So we have follow-up in our graveyard. We have a Miracle Fusion that we could use to make Absolute Zero. We could use it to make our Escarito if we wanted to. We have a Book of Lunar Eclipse in the hand, which we're going to go ahead and set, and Shadow Mist will be our target to discard for that. We do have the Brick of a Malicious in our hand. We have Denier and Grave for follow-up, and I think what we'll do, we're actually going to activate our Poly. We're going to try to get this Malicious to the graveyard, so we're going to use our Shadow Mist and our Malicious in our hand, and it does suck that we're going to have to get rid of that Shadow Mist resource for a Book of Eclipse, but that kind of happens in Heroes sometimes. And this is an honest test hand. This is honest. We're going to play through our mistakes, and we're going to show that Heroes can always crack back. So we'll make an Escarito. He's very basic. He just says gains 100 attack for each E hero in your graveyard. We will then activate our Denier in the graveyard, and that is going to proc to place our Malicious on top of our deck. We're then going to activate the effect of our Malicious, banishing it from the graveyard to special summon the one from the top of our deck. We will then link off into our Cross Crusader, who's going to special summon our Malicious, and then go ahead and tribute it again to search a Plasma. We now have 3 bodies on board that we're not using, our Denier, our Cross Crusader, and our Escarito. We will link those guys off, or not link, but tribute to make Plasma, and we'll go ahead and set our book and pass. So we have the Miracle Fusion in hand to discard for the book to interrupt our opponent on their turn. We have a Skill Drain, we have a Pop, and we have a Pop if they attack us. So very basic hero combos, and that's even with a mistake. And so this is a very common board to end on. You can also end on Ab-Zero if you want to. I'm going to try to be ending my boards like this on an extra elemental hero. So either Ab-Zero or Escarito, because we are running that polymer, that super poly. And so we do want to steal one of their monsters in the middle of their combos to kind of interrupt them with super poly and make our Omni heroes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and shuffle up and try to hop into another test hand. We are hoping to see something very different with maybe our Ian Shuffle line or something like that, just to show how consistent Heroes is, how consistently we can end on that type of board, or the other lines we have going into certain decks, especially against decks that are really spell reliant, such as Branded. We can make our Dark Angel, things like that. So we'll see what we draw and see what kind of boards we can go into. So standard cut, we'll go ahead and draw our 5. We got a Hero Lives, Fusion Destiny, Increase, Hero Lives, and D-Force. We bricked the Increase, but that's perfectly fine. We bricked double Hero Lives, but that is perfectly fine. Even with a board even with a hand like this, 2 bricks in it, one that completely shuts off our route to poly, we will be fine. Heroes can live through this. So we will go ahead and set to the side everything that is not main combo. And we're just gonna go ahead and pop off. So we're gonna activate our Hero Lives. It's always the starter. We pay half and we make our Stratos. We're gonna go ahead and send it to the graveyard. Stratos effect is search. In this scenario, I do think getting bodies on board will be a good idea. So we're still gonna search our Faris. Or we could search our Vion. I do think that's actually a better idea since we do still have our normal summon. So we're gonna search our Vion. You see, this is really the thought processes I have as a hero player going through this stuff. You kind of make up the lines on the fly. There's no real designated lines because the combos are so variable depending on what you have in your hands. That's why hero combos are so hard and hero test hands are really what I like to do. So we're going to normal summon our Vion and we're going to use his effect to Foolish a hero. We'll go ahead and Foolish our Shadow Mist and we will activate our Shadow Mist on Grave. And we're going to go ahead and grab, we'll say a Liquid Soldier. Yeah, I think a Liquid Soldier would be good here because we do want to draw into a little more gas. So we're then going to activate our Vion. We're going to banish our Shadow Mist. Go ahead and search ourselves with Poly. Since we do have the increase in hand, we have an extra material to poly with, so we can link away our Stratus. We're going to go into our classic Wonder Driver play. We will activate the poly in our hand using these two. Very basic combo, kind of the same thing that we're always going into. Make our Sunrise. It's going to go the same chains, 1, 2, 3. We'll search our Miracle Fusion. And we're going to hope to draw something a little bit better than we did last time, since we did brick a little bit. However, if we do draw our Malicious this time, is not the end of the world, since we didn't mill it out. So we're going to go ahead and cut, and we will draw 2, a Malicious, and a Super Poly. That is something we really want to see. So we did get the Malicious, we'll discard that, and then we're going to go ahead and reset our Poly. And see that card advantage right there into our Super Poly, that interruption is just so great right there. So we do get our Super Poly. We are going to activate the effect of Malicious Engrave. We're going to banish to special summon our Malicious. And this is going to, this is going to let us link away. And we are going to make our Cross Crusader. And we can special our Malicious. Now, right here is the point where a lot of people would tribute the Malicious, right? People would say, oh, okay, we Cross Crusadered, we got our Malicious on the board, now we have to tribute it. No. We wait for a moment, because we're not exactly sure what we want to use that Malicious for yet. We don't know exactly what we're going to want to search yet. So we're going to finish our combo, and then we'll see what happens. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and, now that we've used most of the gas in our hand, since this is a dead draw, which we will go ahead and discard off our Super Poly, and these we are saving, we will go ahead and activate that Fusion Destiny that we still have in hand. We're going to use it to get rid of our Neos, since we have our Malicious already on board, and our Denier. I do find myself using Neos and Denier more often than Malicious Denier now, which is pretty funny. So we will go into that DPE. And then, again, DPE is more of a way to get Denier into the grave nowadays. So we will special summon our Denier. We will use his effect to place our banished Malicious back on the top of the deck, which we will then activate D-Force. This card is going to search out our Plasma. And look at that, we have 3 materials on our board, and we didn't tribute the Malicious. Now we will tribute the Malicious, since we know what we're going into. We're going to tribute that Malicious, and now that we have the other one on top of the deck, and we're going to get our Honest Neos, because we do want a little bit of protection on this board. So we'll get that Honest Neos. We'll go ahead and banish the Malicious that's in our graveyard to special summon one from our deck. Since that is not a once per turn at all, we will link 3, or not link 3, I always say that. We'll tribute 3 to make our Plasma. We do have an Elemental Hero on board, but Sunrise is not one we want to get rid of, so we're going to Miracle Fusion here. We're going to Miracle Fusion using our Liquid Soldier, and really anybody, but let's just get rid of the Vial. And that's going to make our Ab-Zero. Now, Ab-Zero before was being sent off our Droplet to wipe the board on their turn. Also off our Mass Change. Now, since we're not running Droplet anymore, we're going to send it off Super Poly. We're going to go ahead and set our Super Poly, and we'll put it here. We do still have a Poly set for the follow-up, and that's when we pass turn. So we have a Plasma that is D-Forced. Our entire board is protected from being targeted because of that. We have a Skill Drain, we have a Board Wipe when we need to, and we can actually activate that ourselves if we have to by making a Trinity and using 3 of our monsters on board. If we need a Board Wipe for some reason and they don't summon anything, they don't summon a Dark or a Fire monster for one of our 2 Omni Heroes. The Dark monster usually is the one you'll be going into, though. We have our DPE and we have our Sunrise. We also have Honest Neos to protect anybody on board we have to, and that is a very live line. All right, I want to go ahead and show off one of our more niche lines, and that's if you open up a hand like this. So it is Fusion Destiny and then 4 non-gas cards. We will not be touching these for our combo, at least not that I can think of. And you get hands like these. You do see hands like these, and these are pretty much just X card. These can be a lot of things. So sometimes you have to flounder off Fusion Destiny, and with this we can make a Dark Law. We're going to activate our Fusion Destiny, and this is exclusive to us hero players who are running Dangerous. That is why I like to run him. Going into somebody who you need to make Dark Law against, this is the wave. So we're going to go ahead and send our Shadow Mist and our Malicious off of Fusion Destiny. That is going to make our Dangerous, and we'll put him in defense position just because he is not too big of a body. So it's going to make our Dangerous, and we will not be proccing our Shadow Mist effect because we will be wanting to bring that back off of our Liquid Soldier. We will then activate the effect of our Malicious. We will banish it to Special Summon. If the X cards in your hand are not ones that are necessary, you can even extend this combo. So let's say they did not Ash Blossom the Fusion Destiny, which is the big checkpoint for Ash Blossom, and they don't seem to have any hand traps. You could go ahead and send it Called By or any one of these other cards off the Dangerous. So we'll go ahead and discard X card to let us Foolish a Destiny hero, which will go ahead and make our Denier. This is going to add some extension to the combo. So we'll Foolish our Denier. Off of that, we're going to go ahead and link 2. Since we no longer need these guys on the board, we will make our Cross Crusader, and that's going to bring back our Malicious, and then we'll Special Summon it, or sorry, we will Tribute it to search for our Liquid Soldier. We will not be able to activate our Draw 2 off Liquid Soldier this turn, but that's all right, because we are going to be getting our Shadow Mist. So we're going to normal summon Liquid Soldier. Its effect is going to proc, which is going to Special Summon our Shadow Mist, and its effect is going to activate. When it is Special Summoned, it lets you search a Mask Change. So we will search that Mask Change, and now we have our Dark Law. However, you do want to hold off. You want to set this and then activate it in your opponent's draw phase so that you'll get your search off Shadow Mist. All right, so in this board state, we do want to follow up a little bit more just to have a little bit more protection, but there's not a lot we can follow up with, but since we made the Denier, we can. So we'll Special Summon that Denier, place our Banished Malicious back on top of the deck, and then we have a few options here. We will not be touching these for the combo. I did add D-Force just because it was an X card. If you did have D-Force actually in your hand, you could activate this, tribute these, and get, it would be a Shadow or a Dark Law D-Force board, which Dark Law D-Force Plasma board, which is incredibly hard to break. Those boards are actually really nice, but let's just imagine we don't have that D-Force. This board here, we can honestly just link these 2 away to go ahead and make a Dread Decimator, and then we will go ahead and set our Mask Change, and now on the follow-up, we will Mask Change our Shadow Mist into the Dark Law, and here we'll go ahead and search our Honest Neos, and really what we're doing with this is just making it to where no matter what they do, they will not be able to just go to battle swing over our Dark Law. So we get our Honest Neos to protect, and yeah, so that is a very kind of like oh shit button route to making Dark Law if you have to. And yeah, the X cards in your hand can be incredibly useful, but just not combo pieces until they're live. Like D-Force was not live until the end of that combo. Book of Lunar would be really good for follow-up. So again, off that really bricky hand, if you have Fusion Destiny and you're running Dangerous like I am, you can make pretty much everything work. All right, so that is going to be the majority of the combos that I am going for. Those are a few test hands, and pretty much everything that the basics you need to know to run heroes in your locals if you're playing this list. I do think this list is the best hero list you can have for the scramble, which I think heroes are playing a lot with bricks, with getting negated, things like that. I think this is the best way to play through the scramble. It is not ideal combo, but it is the best scramble, and I really like it for that. So that is my hero list and my combo. I'm going to be playing in locals in 2 days, and I will update you guys after that video. Besides that update, let me know down in the comments what type of videos you guys would like to see in the future. And drop a like if you like this style of video, these test hands and combos. And if there are particular combo lines you guys would like to see, I can make a video on those. So just let me know down in the comments, drop a like, and subscribe for more hero content.